Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Kathy. Today I'm just going to be showing you how I color this dress for this magnolia stamp here. I've already done a video on how I colored her skin, so I'm going to link that down below and you can check that out if you're interested. So for this one I am going to be matching it to a card that I'm making. So I've already picked out the colors, so I wanted it to be like an amethyst kind of color, so I picked V15, V12 and V01, and I usually start with the darkest color. So I'm going to take the V15, and what I do here is I want to color in the darkest areas wherever there's kind of pleats. Basically what you want to do is just use the image when you stamp it if there's sort of hints on where the dress is going to be darker. So basically on her sleeve here there's kind of two pleats going down, so I'm just using the darkest color there, and then wherever there's material that's kind of sewn and gathered together, I always make that section a bit darker. This little section right under her chin I'm going to make dark because the light's going to have a hard time reaching it there, and then there's a little area in the back, and then there is another kind of pleat there, so I wanted to do that. And then like I said before, my light source is coming from this way, so I am going to be doing the back of her dress like over here a bit darker, so I'm going to be shading that in with this darkest color. And basically these flowers are kind of covering her dress, but you will be able to see a bit of her dress peeking through, so I'm just kind of trying to decide where her dress is kind of showing through there. And I'm being very light-handed. You basically just want to use like these little wispy strokes. And I'm just going to be outlining the front of her dress a little bit there. The light is going to be there, so that should be a bit lighter. And then wherever the flowers are, they're going to be creating a bit of a shadow on her dress. So I'm just going to be like around where the flowers are, I'm just going to be creating some shadows there. I'm also going to be coloring this bottom kind of underskirt part of her dress, and again, because the two pieces of material are kind of sewn together there, I'm just creating like a darker lip underneath because that should be a bit darker. Okay, so the next thing I do is I take the middle color, so in this case it's V12, and what I'm going to be doing is I want to go directly over all of the color I just laid down, the darkest color, but then I want to extend it a bit. So in this case with her little sleeve caps, I'm going right over the V15, but then I'm coming down below it. So that's going to create a gradient kind of in the color. So again, on this pleat here, I want to go right over the V15, but I'm going down even farther. So I'm just dragging the color down into the dress. And that's just my way of what I find kind of works with respects to still being able to see the pleats. So there's this kind of a pleat in the back, so I'm just going right over the V15 and then dragging it down. And then wherever I have the rest of the V12, I'm just doing those really small circles and kind of adding in, wherever I have the V15, I'm just doing small circles with the V12, basically along the edge of where I want the two colors to kind of blend. So, and this part in the back, I usually use three colors, almost always when I'm coloring clothes or socks or anything. But if there's an area where it's so small, I'll usually just either put one color there or the two colors, and it's usually almost always the darkest color. So now this is the lightest color, which is V01. So basically what I'm going to be doing is filling in all my white spots. And with the dress, I'm just going to be using kind of long strokes so that you don't sort of see, I don't know, I just think it looks better because it's going to be, I kind of want to create the illusion that the dress is kind of flowing, right? So I'm just going to be doing long strokes. So I'm going, in this case, I'm going like over all three colors. So I'm basically laying down this color wherever there's white left on the image, but then also kind of going over where I've already put the other two colors as well. Now what I do sometimes is when I'm sometimes finished coloring the image, if I feel like the dress, because when you blend the colors together, sometimes they blend like more than I really want them to blend. So then I might go back in with the darkest color, because I really want to kind of create those pleats again. So I'm just going to be doing that again with the darkest color. And then I might be shading in like areas where I feel like I should have, you know, because of the source of light coming from up here is going to create a bit of a shadow on the back of her arm here. So again, and then I'm just going to go in with the second lightest color, so V12, and I'm dragging it a little bit past where I put the V15. And sometimes, like, I like that look better where you kind of leave it, there's, you know, it's blended, but it creates a bit of a more of a dramatic kind of color scheme, because I don't want it so well over blended that you can't, you know, see, you know, where there might be shadows or where the pleats are going to create more darkness in the material. So you know, you just kind of play with it. You just gotta play around with what looks good to you, and you can kind of keep going back over things and seeing what you like. You know, like there's no time frame where you know, you have to, you can just keep going over and over again until you kind of get it the way you want it. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to her socks, and again I'm going to be using the image to kind of help guide me as to where I put the darkest color. So when the socks are kind of sagging down like that, anywhere there's these little lines to kind of create the sag marks is where I put the darkest color. And then I tend to put it in the front of the shoe because it's such a sliver of coloring there. So I just usually put the darkest color there. And on this side, I'm just going to be coloring kind of where the socks are slouching. So that's the darkest color. And then I'm going to go, again, I'm going to go in with the second darkest color, and I'm going to go right over what I did and then extend it out a bit farther from there. And then I'm going to follow up with my last color and just basically put it wherever there's white left on the image. And then I'm sort of lightly going over all the colors. Like I'm putting this over all the colors to kind of blend it a bit together so you don't get kind of harsh lines in there. But again, if you do that and you feel like it doesn't create, like in this case I feel like I could still kind of show more shadowing, so I'm just going to be adding that darkest color in again. And I'm pleased with that look. So there is the dress and the socks. So I hope that there was some information on there that was helpful, and I'm going to be moving on to the hair in my next tutorial, so be sure to check out that video. And until next time, happy coloring. Thanks. Bye bye.